During the dinner days, when mom cooks, every dinner meal, there's always a soup of some kind, okay? A herbal soup, or what I call tan tong, bo tong, or guan tong. I actually never cooked in my school days because my mom always cooked, okay? And I see her observe, and that's it, yeah? And when I got married, and I would do my own cooking, I never cook at home. Trust me, my mom will never let us use the kitchen. It's hers, all right?
Okay, gotcha.
So she's happy to cook for us, and we eat. So it's only when I got married, I moved out the house, then, we start cooking. Then I say, yeah, my husband is a chef, no?
Yeah, she has no need to cook.
Sometimes he will tell me, this is bad. Why? Because there's no love in it.
So what is the taste of love?
Different.
Different.
Why, hello there, food lovers, and welcome to The Hungry Immigrant, the place where flavors cross borders and cultures unite. I'm your host, Abang Brian, coming to you with stories, secrets, and the irresistible charm of Asian cuisine and heritage. Each week, we'll journey into the heart of what makes food more than just a meal. We'll talk to chefs, celebrities, home cooks, and food enthusiasts who have brought their heritage to our tables. From the bustling streets of Kuala Lumpur to the vibrant markets of Manila and Seoul to the Chinatowns of New York, Paris, and Toronto, we're exploring the magic of food that connects us all. So join us as we delve into the rich tapestry of Asian food culture and heritage, celebrating the traditions and innovations that make our culinary world so diverse and exciting. Now, get ready as today's episode promises to be a flavorful journey.
I mean, even at home, having these two cultures, do you see like a fusion of food? Does it make
No, I don't like fusion. Never fusion.
That is my next question.
Never fusion. I like my traditional cuisine. He likes his traditional cuisine.
Okay.
I think back to basics is very important. You see, now artisans always comes back.
Yeah.
Now we're cooking with wood, with fire.
Yeah.
This was what we have, our forefathers, we call the barbarians, the cavemen does, right? So this is something that we're doing now. It's modern.
Okay.
All this sous vide is all actually very old-fashioned, very long time ago. Yeah. In the army, they do a lot of sous vide. So that is not new, but people say it's new. It's not.
Because they can sell new gadgets, right?
It's a miniskirts, Which era was miniskirt?
I have no idea. I'm very young, Ming. I don't know. We pretend not to know. In general, you don't like fusion food or you don't believe in it or... Because it's a very controversial topic, and now the culinary world has come up with a new term. It's not fusion food, it's, one chef told me, progressive food. What do you think?
It's a tweak. They always say it's a tweak. I still feel that we need to treat every ingredient with respect. Right? If we meddle too much of it, you will lose the original taste or the texture of the ingredient you want to showcase. But it's a chef's job. Okay, he cooks good food, but why did he cook good food? Because he gives respect to ingredients, all right? The taste, the flavor, the texture, all right? How to enhance it. So this is something that many forgets, yeah? And when they play with it, forget about the origins of the ingredients, and they just mess it up.
How about using different techniques, foreign techniques with local ingredients? Is that considered fusion to you?
No. That's not fusion, all right? Using technique to bring up the essence of certain thing, like chlorophyll, all right? We will not have that chlorophyll without the technique. People have innovated, and they did very well. That I can accept. Not that I can accept, but too much of playing with fermentation, mixing the taste, and not keeps its originality is where I reject.
I'm sure you have gone to restaurants which have pride themselves on fusion food, right? And when something fusion is served to you and you're like, oh, give me an example of that.
Okay, let's say wrong use of lemongrass flavor.
Okay.
With a Western taste. Let's say with a bourbon. Okay? I may be very traditionalist, yeah. This is maybe not the best example. But, that fusion, and then what you're going to use with that sauce. What do you want to feature? I had a bourbon, there's caviar, and there's other things inside. What is what is, we're trying to enhance with luxury ingredient, yes, and then you want to use maybe it's yuzu now, it's so popular, just because it's popular, you use it, but does it go well at the end of the day with a fish or with something else? Also, it has to combine well, all right? There's no one clear example, but when sometimes the chef presents something, we know it's right or wrong. And one thing which I like to add, there's this aspect of this Asian thing.
Yeah.
And how do I, before I meet my husband, venture into other cuisine, I happened to work for 9 years at Ernst & Young. You don't believe that.
I didn't know that. So we are kind of from the same cookie cutter. Okay, so you were audit.
So yeah, I was an article student. And so being article in the audit department, we have to go everywhere, right, to audit. And the clients, will take us out, or dinner, lunches, and expos.
It's not meant to be the way, but that's what's happening in the world.
For example, when we do a plantation audit, we will be taken to the nearest nice restaurant by the plantation manager, where there's a local specialty local. So that's how I get also extended exposure. We go to a nice steakhouse. I was one time taken out by a very famous politician now, before he was not, to the pub where I grew. One of my first experiences to grow.
Yeah.
Because I was in the audit.
Yeah.
So things like this, your pay is not good enough, 250 ringgit pay, how to go for a good grill, the kind of thing. So you're taken out. So that's on, to my exposure to culinary. And at the end of the day, I was in the corporate world, and I was so free. A few friends says, let's open a restaurant.
Oh,
Just because we had a little bit money and perhaps we can enjoy. And that was way back in 1996. All right. When the scene in Kuala Lumpur, the F&B scene was booming.
It started to bloom.
So the partners of ours is a very famous Mexican restaurant down in Singapore.
Okay.
So with a few Malaysian friends, we opened a Mexican restaurant.
Okay.
So my first exposure to Mexican cuisine. And that's where my starting point in the food and beverage. And I never went back to my profession.
Right.
But that helps me.
So in saying all this, right? First of all, I want to backtrack with the whole fusion thing, right? A lot of people feel that there needs to be a way forward. There always needs to be there's a need for innovation, right? How do you think we should balance innovation and authenticity? First of all, do you believe in the word authentic?
Oh yes, I believe in the word authentic.
What is authentic to you?
Something origin, okay? What it's supposed to be, all right? Not meddle with, can enhance, but the originality must be there. That's why it says authentic. It's real. It's not fake. We can do a lot of fake things, but at the end of the day, like molecular. How long did it sustain, you tell me? Do you want to eat or consume a real oyster or a molecular oyster? You tell me. There's no texture. There's no texture in molecular. It only gives you the taste. But a real oyster, wherever it origins, the creaminess, the thickness, the brine, cannot.
The brine of it.
Nothing can fake it. I know the AI now, many things can fake, but food, very difficult. In fact, when I was interviewed, for the position of general manager to open the Cordon Bleu.
Yep, she was the OG. She was the one ever since the Cordon Bleu Malaysia was here.
One of the Congo directors from Australia asked me, what do you think about popping a pill as your food in the future?
Wow. Okay.
I wasn't in the interview yet.
Yeah.
Just meeting outside, had a casual conversation, and he asked me about popping the pill, taking a beef dish through a pill. I say, I hope that won't happen.
Yeah.
Because it will destroy the gourmet of eating. The texture of having a steak, how we slice it, how we chew it, the meat, the tendon oozing out of the juice. Combine it with the sauce or no sauce. It's seasoned well. The pill, can it represent? Okay, it may burst with flavor in our mouth, but where's the texture? That's the texture.
Right.
So it defeats the purpose. Why do we have teeth?
Okay, so then that is, I understand, like you want the whole meaning behind eating to be preserved, right? Maybe I'll reserve this. Maybe this is something I'll throw out to the listeners. Maybe we'll not talk about this, but I'll just throw it out there. There's a whole new movement behind ensuring that we have enough food because, the way we are cooking, the way we are eating and consuming food around the world, if we do not change the way we do it, by 2050, we're going to run out of food. So there are a lot of solutions coming out. I just came back from Helsinki where there was a company that is producing eggs from cells. I think that's a very interesting topic, which we'll not go into. But it's something to be, I think for the listeners, I think it's something interesting to learn. And I'm not against it. There's a lot of controversy which will not stir up in this episode, but I probably will talk about it in another episode. But here we are, we're still focusing on our Asian heritage. And my question to you next is, all your life, you've had Western influences, right? Because your heritage someone is from the Western culture. You're working with the oldest French culinary institution in the world. You've had all this
I
different...
forgot my hotel days. 6 years in the Western Kuala Lumpur, where I brought more than 30 chefs in all our restaurants and bars all over the world.
So you are exposed so much to the Western culture. How do you stay true to yourself? How do you still go back to pap time?
Well, it's a choice. Okay, at the end of the day, it's a choice. All right, we can have the taste, the world best food. We can go for different meals. At the end of the day, if you ask me what I want to cook at home, okay, I can cook a very easy, simple, like say, okay, and it serves my purpose. So it's a choice of going back to what you like, yeah, or.
But it's not to say that you don't like the type of food that you're exposed to.
That sticks in me.
But why do you think it sticks with you?
One is the enjoyment.
Okay.
The cooking part of it too. Yeah, it's the aroma, of this the pregnancy dishes. With the sesame oil and the ginger and the garlic somehow, sticks to me.
Right.
So that part of the cooking is really in me. And when I boil soup with tong quai, you can smell it, and that's in me, yeah. And you seldom get this anywhere else unless you order the dish and you consume it. It's just that this is a part of me.
Who you are.
Yeah, who I am, and I'll continue with because I need it because my body is very cool.
Right. So you already have that belief, right?
That I will occasionally want to cook a trotter, black ginger, and mong chao kai for myself to eat. If I'm single, this is what I'll cook for myself.
Okay, so I realized that we are also talking a lot about different elements and different type of food, and I just want to remind everyone who's tuning in that the intention of this show is to preserve everyone's story, and everyone's story is so different, and we are here to promote diversity, and we do understand that certain people might not eat certain things because of religion, because of the way they're brought up, but this is not about making people want to eat the same things that we eat. No. The intention of our show is to really preserve your story, and this is your story, and a lot of people might connect with it, and people who don't, I believe that this is part of education. It's opening people's eyes, and I think with education, only will there be tolerance, right?
Not only that, I think, like I said, the dishes that I like, mainly for the period, menstruation, and birth, giving birth, is everyday life.
Yeah,
And it can be introduced, all right, to the young people who are not, they will believe.
No, I must say this one, I will put my hands down and tell people that if you don't believe in it, right, go research it. I can tell you that there is documentation, scientific proof that there is certain truth to this yin and yang, and there's certain truth to herbal medicine.
Yeah.
I am not saying that herbal medicine can override Western medicine. I'm not saying that. But I believe that there is room for both to go hand in hand.
We are what we eat, okay?
That's true, yeah.
I mean, many people have come to me, Ming, how can you stay with your young look, although you are this age, that kind of thing. Then I say, it goes back to my mom's days. Yeah, that foundation that is put in our body continues with it. It gives us that genes, maybe it enhances the genes, and I continue with it. So I'm a little bit of proof, and this tells a story, and it didn't hurt me in any way. I'm healthy. Yeah, I go for my checkup every year. It didn't.
Yeah, this is what I mean. Like, at the end of the day, you still go for a checkup, which is Western medicine, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it can go hand in hand and so, and again, this is not a form of advice, right? We do not take us as experts, medical experts. So if you don't want to venture into herbal medications or whatever, talk to your healthcare practitioner. Please consult with all the professionals that you need to before. This is not meant to be a show to tell you to eat herbs, right, to survive or whatever. But this is our experience of it. Yeah.
But I say my experience of ginger is a wonder and superfood is correct.
Yeah.
It helps me.
It really helps you.
Moments of nosy-eating, overeating, and all that.
I don't know. I just love ginger. I can't live without ginger.
Yeah.
But now we're going to go to this part where I want to talk about Le Cordon Bleu Malaysia or Le Cordon Bleu in general, right? So I am someone who is very big now on preserving and promoting Asian culinary heritage. Do you think that Le Cordon Bleu is also playing their part in helping the Asian heritage and guiding along? And
oh yes, we are. In fact, we have planned out our next 3 years project. One of the projects that we're going to do is to come up with a Malaysian cookbook. All right, and with that we are going to go into developing a Malaysian cuisine program. Okay, so what is Malaysian food? The heritage part, there's the indigenous part, and then that's the origin, the Bumiputera, Aboriginal people in Sabah, Sarawak. They have a different sets of indigenous recipes, which is not even exposed to people here in Peninsular Malaysia, but it's getting attention, and our different ethnicity, the way we brought in and developed new things like bak kut teh, which is very, very Malaysian. The yusang that we had in Chinese New Year is a version of our rojak, which is Malay and Indian. It's very interesting and it needs to be known. And the locally sourced ingredients that we have, similar to Southeast Asia. In fact, yuzu was the big thing before. Yeah. But do you know what is so explosive now in the Western world? Calamansi.
Well, what is calamansi? Whenever things have become so big, I'm like, calamansi is like, limau kasturi, is it? That little thing that either you drink with water as a shinkampeng or like...
And you can even cook it.
Yeah. And on our laksa, in what's that?
Sonsidin now is a flavor that have taken over usually.
I'm like, what? This is something I grew up with. It's so like, sometimes...
To us, it's so mundane, right? And this is where we want this program, the Malaysian cuisine, recognizes that things common to us are not common to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
We need to make it own.
Yeah. And I think that this question comes from, I think a lot of people are thinking about this, right? Because number one, when I tell them I'm Malaysian, they always try to figure out what is Malaysian. Second of all, I tell them I used to teach in a French cooking school and train French culinary techniques and whatever not. They always go okay, Le Cordon Bleu is French, right? So everything is French and I'm like, no. I think about it another way. Le Cordon Bleu, number one, is we don't teach recipes. We teach techniques, right? And we teach culinary techniques, and also we celebrate the values that make a good chef. And it's not just about French cuisine.
Of course, there's the pride in French cuisine, but...
if you recall, all the culinary techniques are interpreted through French recipes. So you actually kill two birds with one stone. You learn French recipes and the technique. Pastry, I would say, is that. That's a very good, very French approach. But when it comes to cuisine, exposure to recipes, plus you had the international buffet that you can cook Peking duck, rendang, and everything just from the techniques that you learn.
And I think it's also about celebrating the values as a chef. And one of the values that I learned at Le Cordon Bleu, again, this is not sponsored by Le Cordon Bleu. If Le Cordon Bleu International is listening, you may want to sponsor our second season, right? But yeah, I think one of the things I learned is about respecting the ingredients that you have around you. Right? We can be using French techniques, but that does not mean that we are not respecting the surroundings that we have. That includes the culture that surrounds us. And I think this is the first time I heard about this Malaysian cooking book. My name is on it, right?
No, different haven't right yet.
Oh, not yet. No, I'm sorry. I'm pitching myself. Dr. Brian, by the time I'll be Dr. Brian, need to be part of it.
Some of our alumni, our local chefs, our chef will also be involved. This is a book with the Cordon Bleu International, and we want to launch it worldwide and also to teach the Malaysian cuisine.
I think food can be studied in so many ways, and I have nothing against anthropology or nothing against nutritionists or psychologists, because food is so much.
Geographic.
Right.
regional.
And historians, right?
There's so many laksas. Yeah, from Johor is different, from Penang is different, and Kelantan, the nasi padang is different, and so on and so forth. So this is very interesting. Yeah, I hope.
But the thing that I think I'm very happy about is also because one of the things that we realize when I do my research, right, there's so little documentation on Malaysian food, the origins of Malaysian food. We always know the stories. And I mean, this is the first step that I'm taking to actually preserve all these stories. But yeah, I mean, there's so much work done. Again, for those who are listening, if you're a food researcher or you know someone who's a food researcher, please point them to this podcast, especially if they're interested in Malaysian and Asian food heritage, because I want you to use this as your data as well for your research, because all these conversations, just reach out to me. I'll give them the transcripts to you, because this is all data, right? And what is history? What is research if it's not the conversations that we have, right? And we need to preserve this.
This is where we will go interviewing local chefs, all chefs involved, getting to books, digging out into recipe books, to find out the best of Malaysian cuisine.
I think wait for the book to come out from the Cordon Bleu Malaysia, but also I think I will have more conversations with different people, because I feel that a food of a nation experienced by different people will have different descriptions for it.
Of course,
right?
Yeah.
And to me, again, what is Malaysian food but the people of Malaysia and their stories? And I hope to achieve that. I hope this is an open invitation to you and Le Cordon Bleu International. If they want to be part of the second season, we're trying out the first season. Thank you for agreeing to be my guest and agreeing to allow us to feature Le Cordon Bleu Malaysia as well. But yeah, so this is an open invitation to you and also Le Cordon Bleu International to be part of the future seasons. I hope there'll be more than 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. As long as I'm alive and as long as I can find people to talk to
About heritage.
about heritage food, I will do this, and I hope Le Cordon Bleu joins me in this journey. But with that being said, now we are coming to this segment, which I just want to spice things up, because I am me.
I have been warned.
And this is what we call the Sambal Survey. So again, to refresh the memories of our listeners, we have 3 sambals. In the Sambal Survey, there's 3 sambals. One is cooked by me. One is cooked by, we bought it from this, one of the most famous influencers in Malaysia, who sold, I think, 1 million worth of sambal within one show live on TikTok. And then one is from a very popular restaurant chain. Okay, and so we're going to taste it together and see what we think about it. And Ming, being the guests, and the world-class taster will tell us which is her favorite. And you will only find out which is the sambal that's cooked by me on the YouTube video, which you can watch. The link we had actually provided in the description of this video, so go check it out. Only by watching the YouTube, you'll know which sambal Ming chose. Okay? So let's start with the first one, Ming. But so this is my bowl, right? So if you can help me to put a little bit on my spoon.
Okay, done.
She's such a chef. Like, the way she puts stuff is like such aggression, sometimes chefs. Oh, I don't like this one. But what do you think of this one?
I think it's a bit too spicy. It lingers in my tongue, and it will destroy my other taste. Okay? And that's not it's supposed to be. It's onion based, right? So a little bit more sweet. It tastes a little bit raw. Maybe it's not caramelized enough.
Let's go to the second one. So for me, this one, I remember this one because it's a bit sour to me.
Yeah. I
There's
forgot
that this sourness that I really don't like. And I think sambal should be a balance of all flavors.
I don't like too sweet too.
Well, that's my personal favorite. I actually like it a little bit sweet. Second one.
The spiciness doesn't, I don't think it will overpower.
Yeah.
It has a little bit lingering effect.
Yeah.
More sweet, more fine. I can taste a little bit more of the belacan.
Yeah, the shrimp paste, right? That's what
Yeah,
I say.
I shouldn't taste the other one.
No, the first one I don't think has shrimp.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe it doesn't have it's not a sambal belacan.
Yeah, there's a sambal belacan or sambal
Oh.
as a belacan or subject.
So it is very subjective. Some people actually use dry corn, some people use belacan, some people don't use belacan at all. But I feel that belacan always gives it a little bit of a more umami kind of taste, right?
More body.
Okay, and the last one. Okay, I know which one my favorite is.
This one seems to have the fermented bean.
The fermented beans. Which fermented beans are we talking about?
Tau si. It seems to have the tau si.
Like tauchu. Huh. It has that taste. It has that taste. And now that you're mentioning it, is that
I'm not sure whether the
it does. I don't know. I don't think so. Any of this sambal has that, but it actually reminds you of that taste. So another chef said it tastes a little bit, has a little bit of soy sauce in it. So which was your favorite?
my favorite lah.
I'm actually confused which one's mine. I personally liked the second one.
It's between the second and the third one.
Yeah, the raw. Sorry.
If it is more caramelized and fine, but I still feel sambal needs to be cooked a little bit more.
Okay. So you're given a choice. I really don't know which one is mine. I'm very confused right now.
Now, because the second one is a little bit too sweet. Yeah, that's why I say, but it's still not overly sweet like some of the other sambals have tasted. So still acceptable. I would take the third one as my choice.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking maybe the third one is mine. And for this time around, I prefer the second one. I don't know. So you will only find out the answer if you check out our YouTube video, and we'll keep score throughout the whole season of how many guests actually picked my sambal and how many times I didn't pick my sambal. That would be interesting to know as well, right?
And with that, I thank you very much for
Thank
your
you,
time
Abang
this
Brian, for
evening.
giving me this opportunity to lend out
Yes, because
how
we
my food history has been and what's my
have you not
favorite.
told this to anyone?
Oh, not
Not
really,
really, right?
not
And this is the
really,
first time I'm hearing
not
that.
really in this kind of discussion. I always
so
advocate all my period soup and
Yeah.
all my birth recipes. The after birth
Yeah, yeah.
recipes, which I love as my heritage food.
Yeah.
Because I'm so oldly exposed and still eat it.
Yeah.
And still go around and say where I can get the best bong chao kai and the jiu and all that.
So this is a secret. I make my own rice wine, and it tastes different. The
Really?
Wong Chao, because my mom loves it so much.
So just give me a bottle for me to make my hong chao kai.
So, anyways, that's the end of our show. Everyone, please keep your plates adventurous and your hearts open. This has been another episode of The Hungry Immigrant. My name is Abang Brian. Terima kasih and thank you for joining us on yet another episode of The Hungry Immigrant. It's been a delightful feast of stories and flavors that remind us just how much food brings us together. Now don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so you'll never miss an episode. And if you loved today's culinary journey, leave us a review and share the episode with your friends and family. Your support helps keep our traditions alive and our tables more diverse. Do follow us on Instagram at Hungry Immigrant and my personal account Abang Brian for behind-the-scenes looks and extra tidbits from each episode. We love to see how food inspires you, so do tag us in your next food adventure. I'm Abang Brian, reminding you to savor every bite and cherish every moment at the table. Until next time, keep your plates adventurous and your hearts open.